Even if you had a defective childhood and missed out on PBS kids shows, I'd imagine you'd recognize this image. No? Let me adjust that. How about now? Haunting memories of 2016 internet suddenly flooding back? About halfway through that cursed year, the internet was once again captured by the meme-rich potential of one of the longest-running children's shows of all time, Arthur. Arthur ran for 25 seasons, coming to an end February 21st, 2022, which was about 10 seasons too long, since in 2011 the show changed production companies to the widely hated, by me, production company 9 Story, which changed the animation to this abomination on the eyes. Arthur began from a series of picture books written by Mark Brown, telling the story of a very ugly aardvark who lived in Elwood City with his friends. The show was picked up by PBS and went on to become a masterpiece that we all know and love. All of us, right? The show's greatest strength, despite what you are about to see, was its writing, which was able to straddle that very fine line between educational, child-friendly, and mildly entertaining. It's been the source of more than a couple great memes, but none as great as The Fist. The Fist was everywhere, from relatable Twitter posts to political 4chan flame wars. Today I'd like to take us back. No, not to 2016, thank God. A little further, to October 4th, 1999. Because today we are going to watch the episode that started it all. The ever-controversial Arthur's Big Hit. We open on a regular day. Arthur has gotten his hands on a model plane because he's a freaking nerd.
What kind of game is that? It's not a game. It's a scale model of the Bell X-1 rocket plane. The plane that broke the sound barrier.
Arthur's sister DW, which stands for Demon Witch, is very interested in this toy because it's Arthur's and she wants it.
The sound barrier must be pretty hard because this plane is all smashed up.
It's not smashed. I'm gonna build it. Stop touching everything. You'll mix up the pieces.
I've never heard of toys that come already broken. I'm going. Never say I don't go when you want me to go because I'm going. Like that. The minute you want me to go, I'm on my way out of here. No waiting.
Go already!
Oh my god, just leave. I'm surprised he didn't punch her then.
Is that the same broken plane you were fixing yesterday?
Don't do that! I need to concentrate.
That's a pretty color.
Ah!
No. Done. Immediately put up for adoption.
Bye!
Just run away from the problem you caused. But you can't run away from the fact that you're the problem. DW pretends she doesn't listen, that she doesn't understand because she's just a little kid, but she masterminds every interaction she has to gain the upper hand. She's not a complete psychopath. There are moments in the show, few and far between, where she actually acts like a normal child. But the joy she gets out of violating people's boundaries is concerning, to say the least. Guess it makes sense she becomes a cop.
I've been working on the plane all week. It's hard, but I'm almost done. DW, don't touch that! The paint isn't dry!
Ew! Mommy, Arthur made my hands orange!
I know. I shouldn't make threats of violence against a fictional child. But thankfully I don't have to, because that's the point of this whole episode. Trigger warning for violence, but DW is about to get beat.
It's the best thing I ever made!
At some point later, Arthur is finished with the plane despite DW's barely disguised plot to destroy it.
This calls for a celebration snack.
Did I hear you say cookies?
While Arthur is busy patting himself on the back, DW decides it's time for a flight test, and oh my god, what happens to the plane?
DW, read to headquarters. Sound barrier broken. What's my next mission, General?
Mr. President, the towers are gone.
Requesting landing coordinates!
Arthur, you made that plane all wrong. It doesn't fly at all.
No, DW. I made it exactly right. What?
This is where it all gets good, where the years of building resentment and unfair treatment culminate into one perfect moment.
I told you not to touch it!
You built it all wrong. Did you even read the directions? It didn't fly for 1 second. It's not my fault if you made a plane that can't fly.
I told you not to touch it!
trauma. This episode remains controversial because of that moment, but not in the way you think. Aside from parents and bleeding heart liberals who don't want to acknowledge that talk shit get hit as a universal law, most people were on Arthur's side here. Like, violence is always wrong, but DW is annoying and evil. And isn't it more wrong for evil to win? I think the episode should have ended here. We did it, boys! But this is a children's show, and so, naturally, someone needs to learn a lesson.
Are they gonna have to amputate my arm?
No, honey, it's amputate, not amputate.
They're gonna amputate!
Shouldn't have touched it if you didn't want your arm cut off. I like how reassuring David, their dad, is being here. I mean, naturally, pronunciation comes before your child's feelings every time, as it should. Jane and David want Arthur to apologize to DW. And Arthur does not see the logic. And neither do I.
Apologize to your sister.
No way! She should apologize to me. I worked all week on this. I told her 1,000,000 times not to touch it.
You're bad!
Let me establish hitting kids is never right. But DW isn't real. And she's annoying. And he told her not to touch it. Realistically, DW has done way worse than this before, and Arthur's reaction here is extreme. But let's be honest, not really out of character here. Like, it's well established that he has a teensy bit of an anger problem, among many other problems. Arthur's a troubled child.
Means no TV for a week.
What? That is so unfair! You don't even care what she did to me!
We'll deal with what she did.
Arthur's parents say they're going to deal with what she did. But let's be honest, DW didn't get this way by having parents that followed through on consequences. I believe there's only one episode that features DW receiving consequences for her actions. Season 2, Episode 4, Go to Your Room, DW. Funnily enough, her crime in that episode was threatening violence. It's a vicious cycle. Later at school, Arthur's friends seem just as blind as his parents to the true victim of the situation.
And I can't watch TV all week. Can you believe that?
No, I don't believe it. You hit your sister? That's terrible.
Oh, come on. Like you never hit anybody.
Nope. Did you hear that? Arthur hit his sister. I, for one, am shocked.
How could you be shocked about someone hitting someone?
Why not?
'Cause you're Binky, and you use violence to feel good about yourself. Now, Binky is established from the beginning as a bully, despite being inwardly a very sensitive individual. He's a bully that does ballet? What's next, a superstitious atheist?
This is statistically significant data.
You always... You know, I can't remember the last time you hit anybody.
Well, what do you mean?
Go ahead, Binky, sock 'em.
Maybe I don't feel like it.
You better feel like it or you're out of the club.
Binky is peer pressured into punching the next kid he sees, which just so happens to be Arthur. Now, Binky doesn't want to punch a weak little nerd, and so spends most of the episode avoiding him.
Hey, Binky, did you hear that Arthur hit his little sister?
Well, I haven't seen Arthur. As far as I know, Arthur isn't even here.
Throughout all of this, Arthur is adamant that his lack of guilt with the whole violence towards a minor situation.
Come on. She wrecked my plane. Why can't anybody see my side of this?
But eventually the cycle of violence continues, and Binky deals out a knuckle sandwich to this punchable face. Arthur runs home to cry to mommy and daddy, and we are given this circular resolvement of Arthur's implied moral bankruptcy.
It hurt and it was embarrassing.
Well, maybe that's how DW felt when you punched her.
Except what DW should have felt if she was capable is guilt. Arthur was just minding his own business when Binky walked up and punched him in the face. DW was facing consequences of her actions for damaging property, something that she probably punches people for all the time now that she's a cop. But no, let's just say that it was the same thing and Arthur got what he deserved. And then this happens.
Arthur, hey, I feel rotten. I want to apologize.
I just want to thank you.
You what?
Everybody told me I was wrong and I didn't get it, but you made me understand how bad I made DW feel.
So Arthur punching DW was wrong, but Binky punching Arthur was right? This episode is a mess. I honestly think they just wanted to animate DW getting her shit rocked for the satisfaction, and then they had to scramble to write the rest of the episode. Jokes aside, Planes can be fixed. Damage to your relationship can't. DW being the main source of that damage, but whatever. At the end of the day, kids are violent, but part of growing up is learning how to resist that impulse. And how to solve your problems using your brain and not your fists. But most people don't even do that as adults. And it's also the responsibility of parents not to raise asshole kids, who become such asshole adults that their assholery gets them punched in the face by other assholes. See, this episode makes everyone the bad guy. Either I side with Arthur and condone violence, or I side with DW and condone her existence. This episode ruffled a lot of feathers. Fans being upset that, once again, DW masterminds her way into doing whatever she wants and getting Arthur in trouble. And parents upset that it depicted violence in the first place. The little kid getting their way is a common trope, and usually even with the kid being annoying, they're at least harmless. But DW is written as an antagonist. She is the enemy. They should have either made DW less awful, or should have written this episode better. But instead we got this, and without this we wouldn't have gotten the fist. And then where would society be?